containers were auctioned, and you want to ask why. Why were they auctioned? First, customs acted in accordance with the provision of the law. The law provides a dwell time for every cargo that arrives in Nigeria. It allows a grace period, a dwell time of 28 days, and after that, there is a grace period of 30 days. So making a total of 58 days. The law has not changed. Section 31 of the Customs and Excise Management Act says that when this cargo comes into the country, it has spent a total of 28 days. They are moved by the terminal operator into one part of the port, and it is considered that they have been warehoused, after which the goods are gazetted. That is, they are published and it serves as a notice to the importers to go and remove the cargo. In the case of the NIPP project containers, this happened, but they were not removed.
They were not
cleared out of the port. But customs went beyond the provisions of the law. Customs actually bent backward to ensure that these containers were removed.
Really?
We did not only relied on the provisions of the law. Customs wrote all the stakeholders that are involved. And when we are talking about NIPP, we're talking about the contractors that brought them. We are talking about the Ministry of Mines and Power. We're talking about PHCN. We're talking about all these other agencies that are involved. And as far back as January this year, Customs raised an alarm. These things have been staying in the port for far too long.
Why didn't they say it on the floor of that Senate committee? Perhaps we should take you to that, and let's take a look at that. You respond to that just after I come back from it. The report is ready now. Can we have it?
It was a revelation of some sorts when officials of the Ministry of Power, National Integrated Power Project and Nigerian Customs appeared before the Senate panel on power to explain why 15-container load of equipment meant for NIPP project was auctioned. The Minister of Finance was conspicuously absent at the meeting, even after being summoned last week by the committee. The Minister of Power, Professor Naji, trying to explain to the committee how the presidency was already involved in getting to the root of the matter by suspending any auction of equipment meant for the power sector and suspending some custom officials.
The Controller General of Customs said that all the containers auctioned would be recovered before the end of yesterday.
This piece of information did not satisfy members of the Senate panel.
Engineer Lotu told us that some of the equipments we are seeing in the market and that they raided the market with police. So it means you can't recover all the containers, as you're saying now.
The representative of the Director General of Customs also tried to explain why the equipment was auctioned.
Any cargo that arrives in Nigerian ports and stays in the ports for 15 days after the discharge of the arriving vessel must be reported as unclaimed cargo list, meaning that that cargo may not have urgent need by the owner and so must be quarantined.
Some of the lawmakers reacted strongly to his explanation and rejected his excuse that Customs did not know who owns the cargo.
And I believe there is a scheduled officer here who is in charge of this MPP, within the MPP section, who is in charge. Find out that guy. Has he not been following that? Or has she not been following that?
The melodrama then ensued when lawmakers asked officials of the NIPP and Customs to present documents to show who the equipment was auctioned to. To the dismay of the committee, both documents were at variance with each other.
Conflicting names. There is a criminality involved if we cannot match these two names, and we will pursue it.
The committee then directed officials of NIPP and Customs to ensure that the materials are recovered from the beneficiary of the auction goods with immediate effect. The officials are also to return to the Senate Committee on Power next Tuesday. Linda Akigbe, Channels Television News.
All right, there you have it. You heard that. How do you respond to that?
Well, talking about criminalities, it's perhaps laughable to say that we have a choice. Nigeria has a choice to decide whether we want to keep containers in the port for as many years as we want, or we want to create space so that we can have legitimate business.
You have taken that criminality word out of context. He said he looked at the names of those to whom the items were purportedly auctioned to.
I'm going to address
that. And because they could not reconcile that, he said there's a criminality involved here if we cannot reconcile this name. So let's not take it out of context.
I don't know the names. I don't know the names that the distinguished senators were talking about.
Yes, but they were from papers that they were obviously given there.
In our investigation, in trying to recover these containers, perhaps I'll also let you know that some of these containers were found to have been allocated to agents and contractors of NIPP when we were trying to recover the containers. We are investigating that, and we are going to let Nigerians know the outcome of that investigations, because when we were trying to recover some of these containers, they were traced to the contractors and their agents.
Really?
Yeah, this is mind-boggling, but this is a fact.
But what about the talk that some of these were already in the market? Oh, you heard
yeah,
them.
of course. When you buy a product, you're not going to use it in your house. You take it to the market. But let me tell you something about NIPP. You saw a report in Ikorodu terminal, over the weekend when we went and we opened some of these containers. We have records of some of these importations that read industrial machinery, structures, insulators. These were the way these items were described, in the bill of lading and the manifest. If they were described as NEPA transformers or PHCN equipment, or we saw the consignee written as PHCN, it is easier. But when we have a situation in which a particular consignment is addressed to Chamberlain Ventures Nigeria Limited, and what we have inside is industrial machinery, for example. What on earth is industrial machinery?
Okay, so wait.
And it is kept there for 3-4 years.
All right, the bill of lading and the actual content. I thought that there's a way that customs or Nigerian government or authorities there responsible can match what's in the content and what's on the bill of lading.
Thank you for bringing that. Yes, the bill of lading describes what you are bringing in. So the bill of lading is also the document that confers the ownership of what is imported on you. So if you are the consignee, the bill of lading bears your name, and it gives a description of the content and the quantity. Mm-hmm. We have some of these cases where the bill of lading only talks about the name of the contractors.
And not the content?
And not NIPP or any of the agencies.
Yeah, because I say that because if customs were able to detect, the illegal arms that came to the country, they detected it.
Yeah.
So why couldn't they know what was inside and then discover that, wait a minute, what was written here in terms of the content is not the same? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, of course, it does happen. Like the ones we allocated to NIPP. About 104 containers were given back to PHCN in the last 3 months, for example. A good number of these things did not read NEPA equipment. They did not read transformers. But because they came up, with documents saying that this belongs to them, this is why they were allocated.
Now let's go back to today's...
No, but just something on that bill lading. Just still something on that bill lading. When we